there's even different slangs in London that certain people just say, wait, hold on, we don't say that. And you're thinking it's London, it's just literally across the river, but it's like, we don't talk like that. So that's another, just to add to what you said, it's also very important for game developers to go that bit further to make sure that when you're trying to do a story, that you properly investigate and see how the people are over there.
For the record, Northwest London's better. For the record.
We won't start that yet.
Really?
Alright, what we're going to say is when we're not represented correctly, it perpetuates harmful stereotypes. We're looking at you, Rainbow Six, with the character Clash. She was an angry black woman. Now, I'm not saying black women can't be angry. Of course they can be. But when you're seeing that in all forms of media, you're reading it in books, you're watching it on TV, and you're playing it in games. When you go up to a black woman in real life, this will have real life consequences. There'll be like a fear in you, and you'll be like, oh, that's probably my instincts telling me that that person is dangerous. Actually, it's an unconscious bias, because what you've been doing is you've been consuming all this media saying, this kind of person who looks like this behaves this way. So when you meet that person in real life, you already have your guard up, and your brain is telling you, oh, it's just instinctual. Now, obviously, it's very difficult to train your brain saying, no, this is fine, because that's an unconscious bias. And that's why it's up to the media to stop perpetuating these harmful stereotypes, because people are consuming this media and they are reacting to it in real life, and it's having real life consequences. So it's not just a game. First of all, it's never just a game. But it's not just a game. It's how people are thinking, and that's very dangerous if you have control of how people think, especially games that are for the younger generations as well. People are growing up there seeing this kind of thing. I won't even mention the damsel in distress trope, and I've seen it in so many different games where it's just like, let me go and save this woman, let me go and save, like, so many games have it where it's just this big strong guy is going to go and save this woman. And so in real life, guys will think, oh, that's how I have to behave to women. I have to save this woman. And then women will also internalize, well, I guess I need to be saved. And so that's what I'm saying. From the ground level up, creating these stereotypes. And I'm not saying we can never have a story ever again where a man saves a woman. I'm saying when it's being overdone and overplayed, that's when it becomes dangerous as well.
So no matter how woke you are, no matter how smart you are, no matter how much you think you're in the know, you have to understand that media will impact you. It's just a given. You have to understand that it will impact you. And it's not that there's never going to be racism again, there's never going to be sexism again. It's an active fight that which you have to do to combat your own unconscious biases. You have to actively do it. And for most, and for some, it's a given. We have to do it because we're growing up in a world where it's diverse. And for most, it's tedious, where it's like, oh, they need to let it go. Like it's not that bad. But it's something that everybody has to do, which is necessary for everybody to do, essentially. But back to our point when it comes to the hiring process. We've spoken about the hiring process on the side of the developers. So what about the side of like the ethnic minorities? Just want to get into this because we've spoken on panels where we've met parents who they have 4 viable career options for their children: pastor, engineer, lawyer, doctor. That's it. Anything else, you're a failure. So oftentimes when we go into schools, we're not just talking to the child saying how gaming is a viable path, a career path. We're also talking to the parent because we have to give them that reassurance that, number one, this is a stable industry and there is money to be made. So there is that kind of aspect of success there. And number 2, these are the people who are doing it currently. Let me show you. So oftentimes they also need that kind of physical proof. Like if one has made it, that means, oh, if I can just, that's why representation means so much. And seeing is believing, because if we see that there's someone there, that means I can do it.
It's that person looks like me and they probably know the struggles that I've been through. And if they've made it, then I can make it too. And that's when we mean the future of gaming. It's also skilling people up from the ground level, from the youth. So we go into a lot of colleges and sixth form, and we are definitely talking to the students, but we're also talking to their parents, because if you're a person of color, you know your parent can be very hard-headed, and you saying I want to go into gaming, well, that conversation will be shut down so quick that there won't be a conversation. And you could say, oh, but it's my passion, Mum. Like, they don't care about your passion. It's can
they do care about your passion.
What parents? That's my brother. We have the same parents. But I don't know what he's talking about. And we both had to. He got a degree in actuarial science, so that. But he also loves gaming. And our parents were like, no, you can't do a career in gaming. My other brother, he's trying to go pro in Apex. So they have lessons there, they're like, this gaming thing you guys have been doing.
It's alright, you know.
It's okay. We're seeing it's working. We're seeing it's working. When we were trying to explain when Alan was younger, they were like, no. It was a hard no as well, and there was no room for negotiation. But from seeing Alan doing well, they're like, okay, Adam. And also they're getting older, so parents actually, he's the youngest, so they lessen over time. But when we're in schools, we're saying, these are the statistics. This is the hard data. They can make money from these reliable careers, because when you say gaming, they see it as like acting, like winning the lottery. They don't see gaming as a viable career path for their child. And which is why we're working with different organizations like Ubisoft to say, these are different people of color who are working, this is what their day-to-day life looks like. So we have a series at MG called the 101 series where we interview people in the industry. So talk about what you do. So we've interviewed narrative writers, music producers in the gaming industry. I'm working on the sound for your child like making beats, like, Free Loot Studios, I think it's called, and they can do that for gaming. Your child likes writing, well, they can be a games writer. Your child likes animation, well, they can do that in gaming as a reliable career that is also stable. And that's what parents really want to hear. Is it stable career path? Forget they're passionate about gaming. It's gonna make them money, they're gonna be stable. And that's kind of what parents need to hear, especially from our kind of backgrounds where it's just, you don't really have room to always chase your passion unless it's making you money, you know? And so when they hear these things, and it's skilling them up from when they're like 16 to 18, and then making decisions that's going to affect them for the rest of their lives. These are kind of the decisions that they can make if they're passionate about gaming. They can go into this industry. This industry is open for them. This industry will welcome them. That sort of thing.
Okay, so we've spoken about the hiring process and the mindset behind some of the working class mindset. So let's go on to the correct type of representation. Now, it wouldn't be an MG panel if we did not talk about Apex Legends and how my sister tells me how they got everything right and they've done no wrong. She's a stan for them, basically. So I just want to ask, I know you three, I play Apex too, but I know that you guys play Apex, and there's a reason why. For you, it was because you went into it. This is your first person shooting experience, and you actually streamed it. So can we just get a little bit more on that?
I was just going to say that Sheila should start first, definitely. You could be in the Apex biggest fan.
I don't even know where to start about Apex. To me, it's like the best battle royale out there, in terms of diversity. I have never in my life seen a game that has included so much diversity, not only in race, but also abilities as well.
As in sexual orientation.
Yeah, sexual orientations, and also physical abilities as well. We have so much diversity in the game. It's so crazy. You can't actually fault it. When it comes to representing a black woman, not only do they give, the token strong black woman, but we also have the lovely, pretty, and cute black women, apparently. And it's just really nice to see that it's been taken really well.
I would say the reason why Apex worked for me and why I actually started playing FPS was because of Apex. Was because when you see a character that looks like you, but it's not just all about their blackness, I'm a black woman, yes. I also like writing, I like baking, I like rollerblading, I like gaming. I'm a whole person. Sometimes in the character you see, that's a black character, and this is black. It's just, what's their name? It's Lifeline, and she's like this, and she's like that. She's a multifaceted, she's a whole person. And that is when you see a character done correctly, where their blackness is part of them, but it's not their defining thing about them, and that's when a character, and you don't have to do so much research, and with Doomfist where they went down to a village in Nigeria, you don't have to go that far. Google exists, yeah? So you can create a character that is a person, a human being. It's not, we're not asking for you to be make sure you research how she became here, and unless the game calls for it. So it's nice to see when they actually get it right, and it's refreshing to see that there's different types of black women too. There's Bangalore, who's more sort of stern, she's a professional soldier, and that could have gone wrong because they could have gone into the angry black woman trope, but because they did it so correctly, she didn't become a stereotype, she became a person. And then there's Lifeline, who is a bit she's a healer, she's flirty, she's nice. She has an accent that we won't talk about it, but she's lovely. And it's nice to see, oh, there's different types of black women exist. Well, yeah, there is in real life as well. So, and there's just, the whole cast of Apex are so diverse. There's a Samoan, there's like Jimmy, there's a guy who's Mexican, there's an American, I think there's a Japanese, Latino, there's a Scottish character. There's so many different characters, all different genders as well, and sexual orientations, and it's just like, and then it just becomes about the character. Because they've got that all in there, and then this becomes, let me play this character because of their abilities. You know, they become the characters again, and that is what you, when you do it correctly, as opposed to, let me play that one black one in, I don't know, when we were playing fighting games, and there was that one black